Okay, you can see me.
I can
I
see you.
joined three. I joined 3 times already.
Well, look, you got there. That's the main thing. Now, Natalie, just in my introduction, I was going through some of your qualifications: experienced doula, counsellor, clinical hypnotherapist, birth educator specialist. Before we get into all of what you're doing now, and I'm really excited to be talking with you today about the Newcastle birth movement. What's life like? I was saying in the intro, we're 7 weeks into these restrictions and living a different way of life at the moment. What's life like in the Mead household at the moment?
I've got a little insect flying past me. So my kids are just watching an old version of Annie, the movie, and I've got a 12-year-old boy and a little 4-year-old girl, and my 12-year-old boy's been home all the time, and he's been forced to do all these little 4-year-old activities. So I feel a bit sorry for him, yeah. But so he's out there watching a children's G-rating movie, yeah.
So well, hopefully, school might start back up soon in some form, and he can start to have a bit of contact with his mates again.
Yeah, he's very, very, very keen. They're going back one day next week, and then after that, I think we'll do a few days. But we're also doing lots of bushwalking activities, and we're making sure we follow the rules. So we'll just meet up with one other adult and then some groups of kids, what kids they've got, what kids we've got. So we have managed to actually have quite a bit of fun. Yeah.
Fantastic, and I think that's a bit of a constant theme I'm hearing from a lot of people I've been speaking to, is that finding ways to reinvent family time and actually really quite enjoying the extra family time. So good to hear, and I love the idea of bushwalking. Incorporating your exercise, your time in nature, fresh air, and vitamin D. So can't get much healthier than that. Now, Natalie, before we talk a bit about the Newcastle birth movement, can you explain to people listening today what your role is as a doula, or what does a doula actually do? Because I think it may be something that not a lot of people are really familiar with.
Yeah. So doula kind of means birth supporter, and it's the idea that the woman will be feeling maybe afraid or worried or unsupported or nervous. She's never birthed a baby before, or she birthed a baby last time and it was really difficult or scary. So she might call in an expert birth supporter, a doula, to deliberately be by her side through the birth, but also prenatal appointments where she educates and prepares, and postnatal appointments where she checks in and debriefs and does a bit of actual maybe help around the house. So you're hiring someone to be, in the olden days, in the tribal setting, we might have had wise women in our village that did that as part of their normal behaviours. But now we have this strange new modern world, and we hire our wise women to be, and often a doula may have had a natural birth herself. So she brings into the room all of this faith and all of this kind of belief in the woman's body, and just adds to that woman's morale and feeling loved.
That's beautiful. And so a doula is different to a midwife.
Yeah, so the midwives are all doing the medical training, and they can feel inside the cervix, and they can feel the baby's fontanelles to know the positioning of the baby, and they can administer some medications, and they can do some stitching. But the doula's not there for any of the medical things. She's there for bringing the extra love, bringing the extra faith, bringing the extra encouragement, and just eye contact or massage or tickles or carrying your bag for you.
Beautiful, beautiful. When we had our children, we actually had we hired a private midwife, so she was in essence like a doula as well, and that really made that whole birthing experience for us so much more special, to have someone that brought all of those things into the mix. So yeah, so we can't thank Mona was her name, and then we can't thank Mona enough. She was amazing. So yeah, well that's wonderful. Like, and I think that's good for people to realise. Like, and that I guess that's a bit part of why you've created the Newcastle birth movement. Can you tell us about what is this movement that you've created?
Yeah. So it did start up about 18 years ago in this area. So I've just kept it going and grown it more and more. Basically, it was just a meeting for support, and it happened once a month. in the parks, in the community centres, in a church that we hired. And we cover all these beautiful topics like how to have a physiological third stage with your placenta or some sort of interesting topic. And you might not have time to talk about it in depth at a antenatal appointment at the hospital, but you would sit around in the park and talk about it for 2 whole hours maybe at these birth meetings. So we wanted to give that same service face-to-face day, every day. I'm sorry, we're getting a bit of feedback. Is it squeaking at your end?
No, it's okay.
Right?
It's okay from here. Yep.
Okay, good. I'm just worried about my speaker. Cool. So we were doing that once a month, but women were having this beautiful, beautiful time and feeling really supported and getting great information. But then for 1 whole month, nothing was happening in their life, in their pregnancy, with this beautiful support. So now you can come and visit us 5 days a week and do workshops on Sundays. And we just have meetings all the time, or we have courses all the time, or workshops all the time. And we also have doulas there.
Fantastic.
So
it's a whole new, so anyone considering having a baby, becoming pregnant, wanting to learn more about just some of the choices available and some of the options, you guys would be perfect for them to come along and introduce themselves to and learn more about the whole process.
yeah. So our first visitor we ever had at the space was just a woman who was 38 weeks pregnant, and she heard about us and she just came in one day and said, "I'm really scared of birth."
Yeah.
And that's where we just chat to her and help her feel much more prepared and much calmer and much better.
That's awesome. What other reasons have you come across people wanting to come and talk to you at the Birth Movement Centre?
We do have some birth counsellors there that are volunteers. So we've had a few women want to come and debrief about their past births and what they consider feeling traumatic.
Yeah, fantastic. So fears about the birth process, just recovering from pre-traumatic births. What else?
So we started offering all these other services because the women just were enjoying themselves so much. So now they come down and they do some development or kinesiology classes with their babies, or they come down and have a mother's group, or they come down and learn about, how to feed your baby some vegetables, or some of the great topics that you guys do, but we don't do much of that. We don't specialize in that. We might just have a guest speaker come once a year or something, but we kind of make it fun, like a variety of things. We were supposed to do a workshop about baby wearing, how to wear your baby safely and carefully for chiropractic and development, but that's one example of how we've been affected. That one we couldn't do face-to-face.
Yeah, for sure. So it sounds like an awesome place with a whole heap of resources for anyone in that scope of wanting to fall pregnant or being pregnant. So tell me, one of the things that's really important for me from a naturopath point of view is people developing greater awareness and developing greater trust and confidence in trusting their own instinct. How important is it that, young mums consciously deciding to fall pregnant for starters, that whole connection with inner wisdom and inner spirit needs to happen, or can happen even before someone falls pregnant? How important is that women do reconnect with their power, their inner wisdom?
Yeah, extremely important. When I do birth education, it's all about that. So I guess the woman has the baby in her uterus, and we know that the neurons are attached to the baby because of the neurons coming the whole way down the spine and all around the uterus. So I guess she's completely connected to the baby. Her inner wisdom, her inner instinct, her gut knowingness can even monitor the baby's health. So when she's birthing, no one can truly, truly feel that inside. Only the woman can feel inside her own uterus's muscles, her own baby's movements. So a woman who is birthing really instinctually and really well supported and calm and loved can feel if anything goes wrong before anyone else can. She is almost the expert of her own birth, but that's only if she's got that body and mind wisdom connection. So many women we know are up in their thinking brain and they're disconnected from their body.
Yeah.
So we need to completely work on that every day of the conception, every day of the pregnancy, that she breathes down into her body and says hello to her wisdom every day.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's something I talk with patients about all the time as well, is that getting out of that thinking brain and listening more to our gut, more to what our body's telling us, that inner wisdom. So I think, do you think this this awareness of reconnecting, because it's not new, it's not like we've discovered all this inner wisdom, like we've been created with this inner wisdom, this ability to dig within and find our own truth. Do you think this is we're growing back into this awareness again? Like, do you see more and more women coming through, like consciously
Yeah,
deciding to have children, that they're already on this journey of becoming more aware and in contact?
I think so, because 10 years ago when I first started working with couples, I would teach them a breathing exercise where they breathed to their abdomen. And so many couples were shocked and surprised that it helped them feel calmer.
Yeah,
They
that's
were
what.
shocked to learn breathing
Yeah,
10 years ago.
yeah,
They were like, wow, I feel so calm. Now, 10 years on, I teach everyone the breathing and no one's acting interested or surprised at all. They all know about deep abdominal breathing
yeah,
now. And also, when you hand someone a mindfulness app or a fear release soundtrack, they're not going, wow, that blew my mind. They've already got all the apps. People are
yeah.
doing the mindfulness apps now and the yoga and the this and the that. So, yes, I feel we're much more improving with all those resources.
Yeah, that's awesome, isn't it? Like and it seems to be happening. It's a bit of a snowball effect. Like, I think last time I met with you, we were talking about how Newcastle's really, as a community, is really coming together. There's a lot more awareness growing. There's a lot more great things you can attend, different events, different learning. So yeah, so we're fortunate. I think we're in fortunate times. So I think yeah, it's wonderful to see that evolvement even in that 10-year period. Now, what's as a practice, as a naturopathic practice, what's become even more important to us through these challenging times is the importance of community and maintaining contact with our community, and also really being grateful for the trust that our communities share, or the trust that our communities have with us. How important has it been for you through this time to really, with the social restrictions, to keep connected with your community?
Yeah. It was actually terrible timing because the Newcastle birth movement was just flourishing and the community was connecting really strongly. And it was just that exact timing, actually. So we took a blow. We actually did take a blow to our growth, you guys have been around like many, many, many years, and we
Yeah.
just really had about a 3 or 4 month growth where we'd opened our doors and people knew about us. So we took a bit of a blow, to be honest. I'm still supporting a lot of women, of course, on emails and phone and text, but I'm particularly keen to get the face-to-face and the groups happening again. So I don't know, maybe a little bit, there was a bit of a disconnection, actually, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
It felt a
Okay.
bit, the timing felt sad.
Well,
Yeah.
look, hopefully, after 7 weeks in this Sunday, hopefully, um, we might hear some lighter restrictions. Up until now, we've not been having patients into our office. We've been doing all of our consults on, like by telehealth, by computer, etc., by video conferences. But this week, we're actually going to open our doors back up. And for patients that feel comfortable, we're going to start to see them in-house again. So hopefully the same can happen with you relatively soon as well, that you can maybe do one-to-ones or maybe do small groups if they give us a bit more number in the number of people that can sort of get together. So fingers crossed. And as you said, it was just bad timing to be in such the early stages. But hopefully, a time like this, when people do want to reconnect, hopefully we'll pick up where we started from before, if not even stronger. So yeah, for us, community's really been everything, and really our community is what's helped us to get through this as well. Knowing that people still wanted to stay connected and still needed our help, and So yeah, so we're all. I think that's one thing out of all of this. No matter what business area we're in, we're all in this together. And so yeah, so good luck, and hopefully things will turn around sooner rather than later. Now, how how are you looking after yourself at the moment personally? What sort of self care things are you doing as a mom, as a business owner, as you know, all the hats, many hats that you wear? What are you doing
Yeah.
personally to look after yourself at the moment?
I think my top priority was I just started thinking if I get a virus, what's most important? And I know it's things like sleep and vitamin D and nutrition. So I just started going to bed 2 hours earlier than normal. That was my big change. I just said to myself, right, because I used to often work till 3 a.m. and I just said to myself, right, about midnight now I go to bed. Yeah. And more of the green, I just sometimes have a green powder, you know, one with 36 different organic superfoods or something. And
Yeah,
I just started having them a bit more often, thinking, yeah, I'm going to make sure, and lots of green leafy vegetables that I grew in the garden myself. So really high in nutrition.
beautiful. And now I've just I was saying in the intro, I've just done a Zoom with a good friend of mine, Paula Hibbard, and talking about her journey with anxiety and depression. And we both agreed that sleep is number one for good health, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, good nutrition and exercise are close seconds, but good quality sleep. Now, my challenge to you, Natalie, is I believe the ideal time for you to be asleep by is actually 9:30.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure.
Next time we
Yeah,
meet, I want to see how you're traveling. But 12 o'clock is still way too late in my book for
I
good
agree.
quality sleep. Anyway, we'll come. I'll keep on your tail about that. And Natalie, just something, and we've probably touched on this a bit with the kids and the bushwalking and loving that. But is there something uplifting that you've been thinking about? Some sort of silver lining in the midst of everything that's going on that you sort of think, you know what, if this situation, if this world pandemic hadn't have happened, we wouldn't be experiencing this. Is there something you can think of that's been a silver lining for you?
I did get really excited about how this showed us what we can do in the world with the environment and traffic and pollution. We have we have quick and sudden powers that can improve something. So we've shown we can improve for viral safety, but we can quickly improve for pollution and you know environmental things. So we've got the power now. We've seen how quickly it can happen, and now I want it to shift to fixing up Mother Earth.
That's a beautiful analogy. I think that's probably something that will come out of this. Hopefully, that we've seen that even in a 2 week period, we can make dramatic differences to our waterway and our air quality. That's so true, isn't it? Like, how long have we talked about global warming, and we've talked about long-term plans and the 10-year plan and you know, quite literally, it can all be done tomorrow, or
Yep.
it can be improved upon tomorrow. So I
Yeah.
hadn't thought of that to date. So thank you for sharing that. Now, Natalie, are you ready for my famous Fast Five?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. Now, I call them my famous Fast Five, but we can do them medium. If you want to add on, you can. I'm very easygoing. Favorite exercise?
Ah, bike riding at the moment.
Favorite vegetable?
Ah, now does that include green leafy rocket? Is that a
Whatever you
vegetable?
like. That will
Okay.
do. That will do. Favorite splurge?
Eating coconut ice cream at the moment.
Favorite health supplement?
So that is the green powder, the sun love. I don't know, but I'm open to suggestions.
And one thing you can't live without.
I suppose my children. Does every mother say that? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
pretty much. That in the early weeks, maybe everyone was saying that. In the latter weeks, people are choosing different things. Just joking.
Yeah.
And just finally, Natalie,